Hello, everybody. A warm welcome from the Citrix team to this webinar. My name is Rubal Walia. I'm part of the Citrix Ready team. And officially, this webinar is supposed to be Pat and Sonny's top 10 picks, but I'm sort of gate crashing the webinar a little bit. So sorry about that. I know most of you may have attended Converge and some of you may have not. So for the benefit of people who don't know Pat and Sonny, Pat, you want to quickly tell people who you are and what you do at Citrix?
Sure. So I'm Pat Patterson. My title is Developer Architect Evangelist. I've been at Citrix for 5 months now, 5.5 months. And yeah, as my title implies, I'm an evangelist. I'm kind of a bridge between you, the community, and our product teams.
Cool.
Awesome.
Hey everybody, I'm Sonny Chhen. I've been at Citrix for almost 10 years now. Let's see, I am a developer evangelist manager. So I help manage all of the things that Pat and I are trying to create initiatives with, including Converge, future webinars, training sessions, and any materials that you see coming out of our division here.
Awesome, thank you. All right, guys, before we begin, a few housekeeping details. The webinar is being recorded, and you can expect a recording of the webinar in your inbox in the next 24 hours. There is a questions panel in GoToWebinar. In case you have any questions during the webinar, please feel free to type them out. If you could answer them individually, we'll do that at the questions panel itself. If the questions are relevant to the entire audience, we can take them up in the end if we have time. All right, let's get into it. If you could help me switch to next slide, please, Pat. I quickly want to walk you through the Citrix Ready Partner Program, which we've now opened it up, obviously, for you developers. Now, some of you may have built or deployed some micro apps during Converge or even otherwise. What we're trying to do here is really support you on your journey to building and marketing these micro apps. So in case you've already done the work, we can help you show it to the world. Obviously, we have all the resources and help that you need to actually build the micro app with a free developer instance and helps, tips, and tricks videos for you. And once you've done that part, we move to validation. We have experts in-house who will validate the micro app that you've built that eventually goes onto a platform. You can then obviously share it, which there are several ways to share it. It could either be on a Citrix Ready Marketplace in a micro app catalog, or your micro app can go directly into our Workspace platform. And we've also put aside budget and resources to make sure, once your micro app is out there, we market it out and, the industry knows about it. Right, so we've put a bunch of resources for you to help you, and if you need to learn more about it, you can just log on to bit.ly/cr-dev, and you'll find many resources that you may require in this whole journey of building and creating your own micro app. Next slide, please. As you may have seen in some of our email promotions, there is an incentive for people attending this webinar. So every 10th attendee will receive a set of wireless earbuds. Unfortunately, we can only do it within the US because of logistics challenge. And please stay till the end of the webinar, and I'll tell you how you can claim this. I'll now quietly go into the back end and let Pat and Sonny take over. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Rubal. And yeah, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who attended Converge, and particularly all the members of our community that spoke at Converge. We really couldn't have done this event without you. So, as we present our top 10 of Converge, really this is, a big thank you to our community. This is, you make all of this possible. So with that, Sonny, you kick things off. What's in our number 10 spot?
All right. So when Pat and I were putting this list together, I have to admit it was really hard just picking 10 things that we thought were going to be great from the Converge event. This is my third go round, and I got to say this was the biggest event that we actually put together, in much part due to the success with Pat coming on board and helping steer the ship here. So as we count down, number 10 actually wasn't even something that we did. It was the RawWorks recap of Citrix Converge. RawWorks, spoiler alert, will not be the first time that they appear on this list. but they did some amazing things after the weekly hackathons and the Converge events. They actually conducted interviews with additional Citrites, conducted interviews with some of the breakout speakers, and they did something that I'm really jealous of, is actually having people-to-people interaction in the same room. So as you can see, this is screenshots of everything that they were able to do in terms of recapping Converge, highlighting things that they also enjoyed, and speaking to a bunch of the other speakers who presented and getting more in-depth knowledge on the breakout sessions.
Yeah, I think that's Chris and Ryan, I think, on the left there. It just kind of looks weird talking face to face like that.
No one's wearing a mask. It's
Right.
just, it's one of those things.
Okay, great. And we actually have our first award winner. Who's this person, Sonny? Who are we recognizing here?
So if you didn't get to see his breakout session, Eltjo van Gulik, and I'm hoping I say that correctly, he actually helped 3 breakout sessions. An amazing personality when you watch his videos. He really likes to, he's really passionate about the technology that he's presenting and working on. And we have to say, for Converge, he was our MVP in how he represented all the technology we were trying to present, the amount of breakout sessions he created, as well as supporting it from a outside-in type of role.
Yeah, I highly recommend all 3 of those sessions. In particular, the Python versus PowerShell is a lot of fun. Even if you're at expert level in either of those or both of those technologies, it's just a lot of fun with Ryan and Eltjo there. And I think, as well as most valuable presenter, I think Eltjo wins most impressive beard by a long chalk.
Yeah. Oh,
so,
yeah, me be.
moving on. Number 9, just the interaction in Slack was amazing. It was great to see. I think we had around 1,000 people arrive in our Slack workspace, and it was just great to see the conversations going on there. And I have to recognize fellow Citrite Tara Gillin, because she ran the daily contests, and we just had so many great interactions with the audience. So we saw people's workspaces. Oh, that's a bit of a loaded term, I guess, in Citrix. Their physical workspaces. We saw their favorite songs, what they did when they weren't working with technology. We saw favorite movies and pets, and the view from people's windows. So just really trying not to recognize too many of my colleagues, but a huge shout out to Tara for keeping things fun and driving that every day, and giving us insight into our community beyond the technology. So
yeah, we got to thank everyone who participated again. And we understand this was a virtual event. Getting people to participate and interact and try to get that real world feeling was a little difficult here, but this is one of the moments where we actually got to enjoy what we do outside of work and really come together in terms of what we're doing with the Converge conference. So much thanks to everyone who interacted with us.
All righty. Sonny.
Ethan's in his car. Ethan's in his car.
All right, number 8. So we had plenty of coffee breaks. This was really good in terms of getting support from our leadership team to show that, developing this community and how much weight we're putting behind it and trying to improve and learn and work all together with it. But I got to say, one of our favorite Converge coffee breaks was Safi Obedullah. He actually wins for most involved, because when he did his coffee break, it was about 1 to 2 a.m. in the morning in Australia. Safi was able to go ahead and answer some wonderful questions from the audience, as well as give us an idea of what to expect in 2021 moving forward with Citrix and the developer community. He was able to go ahead and then give us insights into what we should be expecting, what he thinks the future holds for technology, based off the questions that was given from the audience. And overall, he just had a really cool Australian accent. So much thanks, and Great spot number 8 for Safi there.
Yeah. And yeah, just answering a quick question from the audience. I think John missed the Python PowerShell webinar. So as I'll mention at the end, all of the recorded content from Converge is available on YouTube. So you can hit the Citrix Developer YouTube channel if you just go to the search box in YouTube and type Citrix Developer. That'll pop right up, and we have playlists for all the different aspects. So Safi's coffee break, in common with all of the other coffee breaks, are available in the coffee breaks playlist. So we try to organize things there to make life easy for you. Alrighty, so moving on. Trivia question number 1. Sonny.
All right, so question for the audience. You will win a prize on this one. How many breakout sessions did Citrix Converge 2020 feature? Answer the questions in the poll, and then we'll pick the first correct answer or the one that's closest.
Yeah, so not in the poll, in the questions panel. So this is weird. So we're asking you to type the answer into the question panel. We'll give it a few seconds. I see some guesses coming up. So the idea here is that, you know, you can't see each other's guesses here. That's why we're doing it in the question panel, because they come directly to us. Okay, I can see a few guesses. We'll leave it just a few more seconds. Get the guess in. How many? And we're talking specifically about breakout sessions. We're not counting the keynotes and the coffee breaks and so on. Okay. Oh, we've got a very close one. Okay, I think we'll call it there, Sonny. Do you want to? I'll reveal the answer, and I think the winner is pretty clear in the question panel.
All right, so the answer was 57. This was actually more than some of the attendees that we had from the Citrix point of view for the first Converge. So the fact that we had more breakout sessions than attendees than our first time we kicked this off was actually a huge indication of the growth that we had with this Converge event, and how much interaction and how much people believe in actually wanting to volunteer their time and resources and jump on camera and actually feel themselves talking about things they're passionate about and wanting to share it out with the community.
Alrighty, and as well as those 57, we had 10 coffee breaks, like the 12 days of Christmas, isn't it? 10 coffee breaks, 3 track keynotes, 2 conference keynotes, 2 feedback sessions, and 1 meditation. I won't sing anymore, I promise. So well done, Michael Lee, with a guess of 55. You're only 2 out. So we'll be bundling up. We'll be contacting you. I guess we've got your email address from when you registered, and we'll be contacting you for your address and send you out some goodies. Don't ask us about logistics. This has been fun, sending out 4,000 t-shirts. Anyway, moving on. So number 7 in our top 10, we get to the breakout sessions, and I learned so much. I've been at Citrix 5 months, and really these breakouts it was like, you know, deep dive training courses. I'm going to show a clip from James Rankin. This is an awesome session about the work that he did with one of his customers to enable them as the pandemic started. So this is the first time I've done this. Oh, no, don't show my calendar, for goodness sake. Number 7, enabling users in a pandemic.
The VPN that we had there, you know, the capacity of it wasn't great, neither was the performance. So when it first looked like, back in March of 2019, that we were going to get a coronavirus, March of 2020 even, when we looked like we were going to get a coronavirus lockdown, there was quite a bit of a stir, for want of a better word, about how this might be managed. As I said, the VPN simply couldn't accommodate every single user, and those that could be on there were looking at a decrease in the performance quality. Now, for users that were office bound, the process of procuring and building laptops that met the required specifications suffered from a long lead time, so long that it would have a significant business impact. And especially with all of these offshore users out there, where the performance again wasn't great at the best of times. It might be safe to say that we were kind of a bit unprepared for the coronavirus lockdown and what that might mean for us. So you can make that, if you will, the first lesson learned, that to fail to prepare is to prepare to fail. But in all fairness, I'm sure there are many enterprises that found themselves in the same boat. They found themselves with a very traditional way of managing their environment, traditional devices, limited remote working capability, and all of a sudden they were starting to think, what happens if everybody has to work remotely?
All right, so great stuff there from James. That's just like a little teaser there. He goes on to explain how they got from that situation to enabling the users of, I believe it was a financial services company. So really, really good viewing there. Number 6, Sonny.
All right, so this one was actually pretty fun since we got to film this and participate in this one, Pat. Our opening keynote with our guest keynote speaker, Stephen O'Grady. He was able to give some great insights into how developers should be evolving and changing and leading corporations. Next slide, please. And he actually spoke about his book, The New Kingmakers, How Developers Conquered the World. It was a great session that he was able to talk about. If you haven't had the chance, could jump on our YouTube channel and take a look at the video. He gave real in-depth and strategical knowledge on how to make developers become a bigger role within your organization, how they can influence the roadmap and the trajectory of the company, and how working with the developers and building an internal community, or sorry, building a community will help guide the way that companies work moving forward. So definitely something you should watch and check out, and not just because Pat and I are also in the video.
And let's have a quick section of Stephen's keynote there.
Part of sort of the best practice, if you will, for progressive organizations today is to think of everything they can as code. The best practice, if you will, for progressive organizations today is to think of everything they can as code, including their infrastructure. Right, so this is the infrastructure as code, is a term that many of you have probably heard of before, but basically it comes down to anything that can be sort of rendered and managed via software should be. That is the sort of approach that you want to be taking moving forward, because that is the approach ultimately that's going to allow you to operate at the highest velocity.
All right, so great advice there from Stephen, and that was actually that idea of everything as code was reflected in a few of the sessions. We had a couple of sessions on the idea of infrastructure as code. All righty, number 5 in our top 10 is a fellow Citrite, Nick Buffink, who is a sales engineer in the Netherlands, and he presented a really fascinating session about bringing Citrix technologies together to simplify the adoption process. And this was interesting because we often talk about technology adoption, but this was actually adoptive parents adopting children. And so a great use case. I'll let Nick explain why this made a huge difference here.
To get an idea about the process for the adoption agency, I reached out to the director of the Dutch adoption agency. And I asked her if she can share some insights. She told me that they get a tremendous amount of email every day. And documents have to be saved at least for 100 years, a rule that's regulated by the Dutch government. And they now send medical information through email. They really don't want to do that, but they don't have an alternative. And for everything they have to log on to the virtual desktop. They struggle with security and guidelines, and their employee experience doesn't match their needs. And you can imagine that adoption agency is literally 24/7, because a bird's delivery isn't planned between 9 and 5, with the result that a caseworker is using a lot of different devices to do their work. All in all, this is very time consuming and not very productive. I also had contact with the adoptive parents regarding this process. And they mentioned that it's hard to keep an overview of all the documents and versions. And some documents have to be refreshed after 1 year, and you don't want to miss those renewal dates. They have to repeat lots of steps over and over again. To give you an idea, every document has to be signed by them. And for this, they have to print the document, sign it, then scan it, and then email it back to the agency. And often it happens that the maximum email size is reached because all of those attachments. And then they have to find their own way to get the documents to the agency. Very time consuming and quite stressful. And waiting parents also mentioned that they didn't like the idea that documents with very personal information was sent through email.
Okay, so Nick goes on to explain how he came up with a proof of concept involving, let's see, share file, write signature, Citrix Workspace, and more to solve a lot of those problems for the Dutch adoption agency, and he's working with them, I guess, right now on figuring out their issues. So great work from Nick there to see technology making a real difference in people's lives. And trivia question number 2. So Nick's one of our Citrites, our Citrix employees, and Citrix spoke in 32 of those breakout sessions. Which company came in next with its employees contributing 6 Converge sessions? So very active in our community, particularly in the area of micro apps. So we have one guess. Let's see your guesses in the questions panel. We have mentioned them already, so a little bit of a hint there. Some guesses. I don't see the correct one yet. Oh, are we going to be keeping the swag? This is awesome.
Could always use a pair of headphones.
Yeah, absolutely. Are we gonna give away one of those? What's it called? AirPods Max, the new Apple ones. That's what I think we should give away for this one. Oops, and I just messed it up. Okay, I guess we'll call it. I don't think anybody's got the right answer. It flashed past there anyway. It was RawWorks. So RawWorks is a consultancy based in the Netherlands. Eltjo, our most valuable presenter, he's a consultant at RawWorks. There's Chris, Ryan, Jeroen. Oh my goodness, these Dutch names. Anyway, a whole bunch of the RawWorks staff there presented really above and beyond at Converge, and great content. So I get to keep what is it, a fully loaded MacBook Pro and the Apple headphones. I don't know, Tara, I don't know. Whatever we were going to give away, I'm going to get for this. So
like, what budget are you working on? Okay.
Go for it, Sonny.
All right, number 4, another coffee break that actually really made an impact when we kicked off Converge here was with Jeroen van Rotterdam. He's our head of engineering here at Citrix. He actually had the most attendees and had a lot of attendees ask a lot of insightful questions. He was able to answer them straightforward and honestly, and explained a lot of the technical issues that are going through with Citrix and our transformation into the cloud, and how our developer community was going to help shape the way that we move forward with our initiatives going into 2021 and beyond. Jeroen was great and humble in terms of understanding the needs of the developers and what needed to be done from our end for all developers to be successful utilizing our platform. And he was just warm and welcoming, ready to answer any questions that we had.
Yeah, and I think in common with all the other execs, they were very engaged, and it was they were very much in listening mode as well as explaining our strategy and so on. And yeah, Jeroen's coffee chat, coffee break, in common with all of the others, is available on our YouTube channel. All right, so at number 3, we have now this breakout session was the highest rated in terms of number of viewers. Why multi-cloud strategies need Citrix SD-WAN from Ruud Hunt and Bas Stapelbroek from Citrix in the Netherlands. Really strong Dutch showing in Converge. I'm not sure what they put in the water in the Netherlands, but people seem to love Citrix. Let's go for a clip of Ruud and Bas explaining all about SD-WAN.
So let's see how we can connect with all the different cloud providers with Citrix SD-WAN. Now, Citrix SD-WAN provides us with 2 ways for connecting to the cloud. First off, which is only available with the Azure cloud, is that we can leverage Azure Virtual WAN to automatically deploy and create VPN tunnels to our Citrix SD-WAN appliances that we are running on our different sites and branches. So by doing so, we can take away all the manual labor that is required for setting up VPNs per site. And with Citrix SD-WAN and Azure Virtual WAN, we can completely automate that deployment. Now, it is encrypting the traffic, but we don't get control over the traffic flowing from our branches into Azure. For that, if we want to have complete visibility and control, we can also deploy Citrix SD-WAN VPXs in all the different cloud providers. And what this does is that we can bundle multiple internet connections at our sites and branches to provide redundancy against dropouts or brownouts or complete loss of signal. And we can create a virtual path to the different Citrix SD-WAN VPX appliances in the cloud. And we can apply a full quality of service stack so that we can decide maybe a certain application has to have a higher priority compared to a different one. So we get really granular control. And also we get the option to either create a virtual path between our clouds, or maybe do it in a more dynamical way that if you have spread out resources across the multiple clouds, that the virtual path is only being created the moment that traffic is flowing from one cloud to a different cloud. So by this way, we get a really flexible and really rigid solution for connecting to our different cloud providers.
All right. So great stuff from Ruud and Bas there. Highly recommend that session if you are on the networking side of the house. Okay, Sonny.
All right, trivia question number 3. So this actually harkens back to when we were talking about the Slack conversations. The question was, if you were not in technology, what would you be doing? So we have 3 options here. Pick the one that you think was not a response. So what did people say they were doing, and then what was just not the correct response? A, magician, B, podcaster, or C, video game tester. Again, you're trying to see which one of these is the false answer out of the responses of people, what people would be doing if they were not in technology.
All right. Let's leave this one for a minute or two. Now, this is interesting, actually. Like 1 entry per customer. So don't change your entry if you've already entered. But I don't see anybody getting the right answer. This is really interesting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'll name and shame you if you try and enter again and change your answer. But definitely, there's an opportunity here for people to jump in and snatch this this up. What are we gonna dig out some more of these Bluetooth coffee? I'm saying coffee cups or whatever, but they're really water bottles. That's it.
They actually were giving away wireless headphones. So
Or wireless headphones. Oh, of course we are. Yeah, we said at the beginning. All right. I don't know. I think you're going to get a pair of wireless headphones here, Sonny. You were just fiendish with this question.
Again, we're asking for what was not answered. So
yeah.
two of these are correct. One of these is wrong.
Not choose. But I think we'll call it there because we've had about a dozen answers and nobody chose video game tester. What?
Yeah, someone wanted to be a magician, which was surprising. I probably would have put that answer myself. And then, yeah, podcasters. We had some people said they'd want to be a podcaster, but no one said they want to be a video game tester. So go figure.
I guess they're just too close to the technology already, and you know, why would you want to spend more time on the screen? All right. So number 2, Sonny. Tell us about the hackathon.
So the hackathon was amazing. The attendance and the questions were asked were all really insightful. The things that people wanted to know about and how to utilize their technology and the way they actually did it with their submissions were all incredible. So we had to give number 2 to all our winners. And of course, our overall winner being BrickBridge Consulting, who had an amazing submission with less than, I think, 32 different actions being performed within the 5-minute demo of the submission. So if you have not had the chance, go ahead once again, jump onto our YouTube channel, take a look at all these submissions. We'll also be talking with a lot of these winners coming up next year, so then they can give you more idea in terms of how they came up with their solution, their thought process through the entire procedure, and how they actually did it. So once again, congratulations and thank you to all the winners.
And I'm not going to show a clip of BrickBridge's winning entry since their demo is 5 minutes and it is rapid fire. And I could not pick any section of it that made sense on its own. So go to our YouTube channel. We have a playlist of all of those hackathon winners and watch them all, but in particular, BrickBridge really excelled. So a quick special award for highest production values goes to another Citrix, Angelo, Saraceno. Every speaker put an amazing amount of effort into their recording. All of the sessions were pre-recorded, and people put a lot of work into these. And I think Angelo, you can see there, he just had these, I don't know, I guess he was in his parents' house or something. You know, none of us are paid enough to have a house that nice. But he really brought the production value with the picture-in-picture there, and you know, going through the APIs. If you're working with CVAD, I think this is an essential session. And if not, it's probably just worth watching the first few minutes just to see what Angelo put together. So just huge shout out for that session on automating virtual apps and desktops with CVAD RESTful APIs. It was a pleasure to watch that one. Okay, so number 1 in our top 10 picks goes to Chris Twiest and of RawWorks. And actually the opening slide, the thumbnail slide there is a little wrong because Frank van Hulwerf is from the municipality of Hollandskroon. So Hollandskroon is an area in the Netherlands north of Amsterdam, and it's actually where the Azure Western Europe data center is located. So, you know, it's kind of a tech hub. And in this breakout, Chris and Frank discuss how this municipality, so I guess it's like the local government, have a very flexible working environment. Literally nobody in the local government has an office. And they talk about how they've created this environment with Citrix technology, and how they were able to basically take the whole pandemic lockdown in stride, because they were all working remotely anyway. So let's have a minute or two of Chris and Frank.
So now let's take a look at working in 2020. So we've done a large migration. You can even see we have now the Citrix, the new logo. And this was the wishes and the needs of the municipality of Hollandse-Kroon. Users must feel empowered again by IT. Like Frank said, they didn't want to invest in new local hardware. The Hollandse-Kroon was a cloud-first company. And yeah, because Microsoft Azure is in the municipality of Hollandse-Kroon, and the relations between Microsoft and Hollandse-Kroon are very good, yeah, they want to work with Azure. User experience is key, so the user must become centric in the workspace. Users must feel empowered. That's the same as the first one, actually. Do more work locally, so users want to feel more like they work on their device. And users want to get more done and be more efficient wherever the user works. So wherever the user is busy, if it's home, if it's on the office space, they want to be as efficient as possible. And that is, of course, logical, because users at Hollandse-Kroon don't have set working times. So whenever and wherever they want to work, they want to be efficient as possible to get those deadlines done, because that gives them more free time. And a uniform platform. So Hollandse-Kroon had a Office 365 portal in which they had a few SaaS applications and Azure proxy applications. And they had the Citrix portal, which was Storefront, in which they launched the public desktop, and that was separated.
So Chris and Frank go into a lot more detail in that session on the working practices at Hollandse-Kroon, and the way that Rawworks were able to build a solution that dovetailed into the way that they are working. So another session that's well worth watching, even if you're not yet using or looking at micro apps. It's a great explanation of the potential of that technology. So I think, Rubel, we're back to you for the instructions here.
Oh, I think you're muted.
Sorry about that. I was saying thank you so much, Pat and Sonny, for running us through your top 10. Really insightful. And guys, I've just put in chat names of the people who've sort of randomly won that a set of wireless earbuds. So here's the next steps. Just expect an email from us, and please sort of fill out a short form with your addresses to make sure these earbuds reach the right address. And as soon as you fill that form, the earbuds will be on your way. Okay, and Michael Lee as well, you win for correctly giving the closest answer on that first question about the number of breakout sessions. So with that, just a huge thank you to you for attending this webinar. If you attended Citrix Converge, or if you spoke, I can see in the attendee list we have at least a couple of speakers online. Thank you so much for the work that you did in building those presentations, recording those sessions. As I've said a couple of times, that is the URL for our YouTube channel. You don't need to copy it down, just go to YouTube and search Citrix Developer and you'll find that. And just one more thing, in case you guys want to go beyond basically building micro apps to collaborating with Citrix, we have all the resources available. So you can email us at citrixready@citrix.com, and we can help you sort of move through the journey, as I said earlier.
All right. And just because we keep mentioning YouTube, I'm just going to say it for fun. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And then we'll see you in 2021.
All right. Thanks a lot, folks. Enjoy the holidays.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.